Hello YouTube, this is Hinkster Reviews here. I'm going to do my Spectre review. As you all know, I'm a big Bond fan. I've got the collection on DVD. I don't have it on Blu-ray, unfortunately. It's my mum's fault. Stupid woman. But and also Spectre is if you see my top 10 anticipated films of 2015, Spectre is number 3. So I've been waiting for this for a long time, and through time it has been less anticipated compared to other films, but I've seen it twice so far, and this is my review to it. I'm going to talk about the good stuff then the bad stuff, but first I'm going to talk a bit about the plot. It just takes place not that long after Skyfall, the events of Skyfall. James Bond is looking for a man who's in charge of a big organisation known as Spectre. If you've seen the Sean Connery films, you know what I'm talking about. Who's also in charge of, can you believe it, he's also in charge of the villains in Casino Royale, Quantum and Skyfall, which is a bit of a coincidence really, but I'll talk about that in a second. But let's talk about the good stuff. As you'll know, it starts off with this great one-shot opening when Daniel Craig's walking through the parade, and he gets to the hotel room, and he gets to the point when he's doing his snipering, whatever you call it, and that's a good thing. But I like it. But I'm gonna say straight off the bat, it has a great, compared to the other Daniel Craig films, this one has the most comedy, and in terms of comedy, it's probably more campy, like you would get from the Roger Moore films, which I actually like sometimes. For example, you do get the silly, James Bond is trying to play with the car from the car chase, but he ends up like activating playing the music or non-loaded weapons in the car, and at the opening bit when he lands on a sofa, which is a bit typical. Another thing is, I think this is probably, in terms of Daniel Craig films, it's not as good as Skyfall and Casino Royale, but Skyfall and Casino Royale were darker and much deeper films, and they were trying to be something off the Dark Knight trilogy, I have to say so myself. But I think this goes back to pretty much fun. It has everything you want from a Bond film. It has the villains go okay. It's got henchmen. It's got good action scenes. I like the Bond women. I do like the supporting characters in this. And yeah, I think this is definitely the most fun out of the Daniel Craig era. I liked it how they relate it to other Bond, the rest of the Bond films. Like I said before, with Quantum of Solace, Casino Royale, and Skyfall, which, if you do watch those films, they do mention, especially Quantum of Solace, they do mention that they also related to a bigger organisation, and it's kind of like a little Easter egg in a way. It has a great deal of supporting characters, I have to say so myself. I do love Q, I do love M, I do love Moneypenny and Terry, who at the end of the film it becomes like a group spy film, like in Rogue Nation. But I do like them. I do like to see more of them. I think it's a great thing to see Q doing more than he did in Skyfall. I thought he was quite funny, and I think he's a really good Q, and I hope they keep him longer. And I do like the supporting cast. I'm going to talk about the opening sequence. You know, the song by Sam Smith, Writing Was on the Wall. When I heard about this about a month ago, I said it was okay, but you kind of slowly grow into it more and more. Unfortunately, like Skyfall, when you love it straight away. But I have to say, if you watch it and you watch the opening title sequence, I have to say that I love the opening title sequence. I think it's one of the best ones, not just out of the Daniel Craig era, but out of all the Bond films. I do like the octopus and the kind of like the ink to it. It did get a bit dodgy with the whole octopus wrapping around women. It's come to some sort of hentai or something like that. But I think the Writings of the Wall, if you edited the song a bit, you'd like it a bit more. And other people on YouTube sung the song, did their own versions, and you somehow like it more than Sam Smith. But that's just my opinion. But I do think Writings of the Wall, you need to slowly grow into it before you love it, I think. The great action scenes in this film, the car chase, the helicopter scene in New Mexico, really well executed, really profound, greatly. Um, I love the what was it? The train fight, something like you would get from Russia with Love. But this one it's a bit more better. You can actually feel Daniel James Bond's pain. I keep on saying Daniel Craig, but he is Daniel Craig. But you can feel James Bond getting smashed by the henchman in this. But but there's some great action scenes. I do think I do like the skiing sequence. It was something original to the Bond films. We haven't had that kind of when James Bond's on the plane and he's chasing cars. Normally he would ski his way through, but unfortunately I was hoping to get a ski sequence, but we kind of didn't in a way, unfortunately. Uh, Another thing, I do like it how they reference Phoenix Lighter in this film at the when he's talking to oh, what's her name? Oh, it's in the back of my head now. It's oh yeah, that was it. Lucia Sakaria. She's the first Bond woman. I will talk about it in a second. But yep, that is a. I like it how they fin. I was hoping he would come in the film, but unfortunately he wouldn't. But hopefully, I hope he comes again because I think Phoenix Light was really good in Casino Royale, and I hope we can get more of him. Alright, that's all my good stuff. Now let's talk about the bad stuff about this film. Yeah, I think the first thing straight away when they first introduce C, played by Andrew Scott, straight away you already know there was something fishy going on, which is no big deal. He is the bad guy in Sherlock, so why not? But I kind of think it was so obvious. In my opinion, it was just too obvious to me. That's the one that really got on my nerves a bit, and I kind of think, did we really need him to be a part of this? Because there wasn't really much of him, and there wasn't really like much chemistry with the villains. I have to say they're all separate in terms of C, the hench, Dave Bautista's character known as Mr. Hinks, Blofeld. But there weren't really much chemistry with villains, and that's my problem with it. Another thing is, it really, after watching it the second time, it did get on my nerves when the film is 2 hours and 20 minutes roughly, and straight away, it's too long. It's the longest Bond film, and it shouldn't be. When I watched it the second time, I looked at it closely and analysed it, and I said, there's so much you could take out of this Bond film that doesn't need to be in this. I can think of at least 10 minutes. If I watched it, I think you need to cut at least another 10 minutes out of it, I would say. Yeah, the film's too long. And if the film's so long, why isn't enough screen time for villains? Seriously. I think Mr. Hinks should have had more. I do think the Monica Bellucci should have had more screen time. I actually loved her presence, but she was only in it for like 2 minutes, and she's like, I think there was. I wish we could have more from her. I really do think, because she's the oldest Bond girl now, age 50, which she looks incredible for her age. Ernst Blofeld should have had more. There wasn't enough time for the side characters, and for a film that's over 2 hours long, they should be. All right, and and one more bad thing about this film, it kind of goes back to relating it to the other Bond villains from the previous Daniel Craig eras. Is that Ernst Blofeld? If you watch the original, Ernst Blofeld was to kill Bond. There was no relation to that. But straight away, you learn that Ernst Blofeld and James Bond were stepbrothers at some point. And when when he says that line, and if you've seen it in the trailer, "I am the author to all your pain." Why? What? Because you had daddy issues? Is that the reason? And there should have been so much more to it. After hurting him, giving him so much pain, killing his loved ones, killing his M, there should have been so much more than just daddy issues, really. And but I do like Ernst Alfred Blofeld, and I hope he does come back because I actually like Christopher Walken. He's a great actor. He's an Oscar-winning actor. I really hope we can get more of it. I did like his end off. I wish he could have gotten away, like in the older Bond films. But you know, if he's arrested, he can easily escape at some point in the next Bond films. Um, One more pointer at the moment. There is skeptical, you know, Daniel Craig saying in interviews that he's had enough of this. He wants to leave. He's saying he hates playing the Bond now, which is really hard to believe because I really like Daniel Craig more and more every time the Bond film comes out. He's my second favorite Bond, but I do like Daniel Craig more and more. And it's skeptical that is Daniel Craig going to stop it now, and because he's just getting fed up with it, and I do think he shouldn't really, because he's contracted to one more anyway. But I do think maybe he should take another gap, but do something in between of the next Bond film, like because he did Skyfall, waited for 3 years, then did Spectre. But I do think he is a great actor, and I think he should do something else, maybe something to get away from it all. Maybe just like normal actors do. They're like in Marvel films, they have to go straight to another Marvel film, but maybe they should do something in between, like a little small independent film, like Daniel Craig. Maybe he just wants to take a small break. What others? And but if Daniel Craig says I'm officially done with it, I'm stopping it, I would say okay, but I actually love the ending to. Like the ending to Spectre when he drives off with the car, the MB9, DB9, whatever it's called. Oh, it's in my head now. I can't remember. With the with Madeline Swan. I would say, yeah, I actually really liked that ending. If that was Daniel Craig's era, because if you think about all the Bonds we had, didn't really always have a great ending. If you think of Sean Connery, Diamonds Are Forever. Pierce Brosnan, Die Another Day. So far, if I had to think who had the best send off, I would say what's his name? Timothy Dalton. I think he had a really good ending. Sorry about that, that's my laptop. But if this was Daniel Craig's last Bond film, I would say, yeah, give him his. I would say, yeah. I think it's the perfect ending to Bond film. I know this film is really mixed at the moment, mostly negative. People compare it, like I said, people compare it too much to Casino and Skyfall. But in my opinion, I don't think it's. If it'd be lucky to be in my top 10, but I think Spectre is the fun Bond film. It really captures Bond films again in a way, in campier stuff. Like I said, great characters, and I hope the new director to the next Bond films will do a great job. And if I had to give this score out of 10, I don't want to. I wasn't really disappointed in this, unlike Avengers: Age of Ultron when I was. I did say there were problems, but I don't want to give it too low, but I don't want to give it an extremely high, stupid amount. So if I had to give it out of 10, I would give it an 8.25, so 8.25. That's my Spectre review. My next video will be a Blu-ray collection, comic book collection, and a room tour to my lair or bedroom. This is it, guys. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out my other videos before it. Check out my top 5 Bond films. Thanks, guys. I got your back.